Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Season 3 of the World with Nate podcast. I'm your host, Nate Allison. This podcast episode is brought to you by my amazing sponsors, Cool Fit Mattress by Appointment and Brennan Family Dental. If you want more information, check out the webpage. All the information there about how they hook up the podcast is there. You can check them out from there. Today, I wanted to bring on somebody to talk about essential oils. Hold on. We're not going to go where you think I was. So in the beginning of my time, I believe that it was witchcraft and crazy to think that a little vial of some sort of magic potion could cure anything, and that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how it's made an impact in my life. So I use essential oils for cologne. We use them in our soaps, hair conditioner and shampoo. Things that we found in our house that were toxic, we switched them out with doTERRA oils. And I mean, I really just enjoy it. And you are the oil king, the oil queen. Bailey King, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Hell yeah. So before the oil talk, you grew up, you're a Cedar Falls native. Tell me a little bit about growing up in this community.
Yeah, so I grew up just outside of town. We were on a sheep farm, the largest sheep farm in the country.
Okay.
Largest when
For
I was
real?
a kid. Yeah. And so I grew up there. The mom and dad, they got divorced when I was about 5.
Okay.
My mom moved into town. My dad stayed on the farm. So I switched back and forth every other night.
Oh,
so
wow.
one night on the farm, next night in the town, every other.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah. I guess so. I saw every parent every day.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know was super lucky, but now I realize how cool it was.
Yeah.
And they got along, so that was great. And I went to Price Lab NU High.
Which is non-existent now.
Yes. If my husband was here, he'd be like, wah, wah, because he always makes fun of me because he went to our competitor, Dayton, New Hartford.
Gotcha.
And so it was a little K-12 school, 50 kids in a grade. Great.
Sheep farm.
Yeah.
Talk about that. That's not, never met anyone for a sheep farm.
Yeah. So we had very genetically diverse ewes, women, mom sheep.
The mom sheep.
Yep.
Thank you.
And my dad would travel the country and get the rams, dad sheep, and bring them in, and they would breed. And then we would have, in the winter, they would lamb. And we had really cool breeds where they'd have like 3, 4, 5 babies at a time.
Is that unique?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What does a typical sheep have? Less or more? Okay.
Yeah.
So way less than 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then because of that, sometimes moms couldn't take care of all of them. So my sister and I, we would bottle feed the lambs.
Oh, wow.
And then we would sell them when they were market weight.
Sell them all over the country?
No, typically the Waverly Sale Barn.
Okay.
That was probably our main spot. There was a couple other, but typically it was like every Monday morning, truckloads to the Waverly Sale Barn in the summer when they got big enough. Gotcha.
Your experience as a farm kid, how did that prepare you for the rest of your life?
Okay. So if my dad ever listens to this, he's going to die. Okay. But it was very well known. I was not a fan.
Okay.
Like, my sister loved the farm. She loved the work. It was her jam. I was like, when can I hang out with my friends? Could I go play some ball? Like, it was just sports and friends were definitely my thing. And so I was not overly excited or enjoyable most of my years on the farm. But I tell you what, it has completely shaped who I am. My husband and I talk about it all the time because he was a farm kid. He was a pig farm. Just how much it has taught us to have grit and perseverance, and there was good years and bad years in farming, and life went on. And my dad was just such an honest, hardworking guy that it just seeped into me. And it's like, just my values are like so strong in that now. So, and I think at the end of the day, like, I knew if I'd work hard and have a good attitude, it'd be done quicker.
Hell yeah.
And I could move on.
Heck yeah.
I was also a chubby kid. And it was like 110 degrees every summer day doing the chores. Yeah. So I didn't love it. But it completely shaped me to who I am.
I mean, I think a lot of us Iowa kids can attest to working on the farm, whether it be summers or every day.
Tasseling.
Yes,
yeah.
Picking up rocks, the things that you got to do.
My dad makes it like way fun for my boys to help him, like a gator and stuff now. I'm
now
like,
it's
where
fun.
was that? Like,
yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, we were carrying them and throwing them in the back of trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's just a testament. The hard work and the stuff that comes out of the state, I think it can be directly tied to those roots, and that's pretty cool to see.
Well, and I think entrepreneurship in general, right? Yeah. Like, it's not for everyone, and you can't, you can't have, can't ride with the tide. Like, you've
No.
got to be steady, and you have to work hard on the days you don't want to work.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's farm life to a T.
Absolutely. So yeah, I did not know you were a sheep farmer. That completely blew
And
my
now my
mind.
sister, she bought the farm, and she's starting to get back into sheep.
Around this area still?
She bought my
With
dad's farm.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
Well, then I know what sheep farm I'll be checking out.
There you go.
Heck yeah. So growing up, what was your ambitions on the farm? Where did you see yourself going? Because the farm wasn't it, right?
Yeah, no, the farm was not it. I actually wanted to be a pilot in the military.
Oh, hell yeah. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know when I left it. At some point, it disappeared, and then I wanted to be a teacher. And that probably, I don't know, junior high or so. And then that was my focus. I was steadfast on wanting to be a teacher.
What aspect of teaching? Or what subjects?
I just had elementary.
Okay.
I had amazing teachers. They cared about me, and they poured into me, and they completely filled my cup. I always knew that I was going to be great because they told me I was.
That's awesome.
And so I just loved it and wanted to do that. I loved kids. And so it was just like a super, and growing up in a town, the teacher's college.
Yeah, you and I.
It was just like, okay, this is where I'll head. And I just knew early on that's what I was going to do.
Oh, yeah. So eventually you went to UNI?
Went to UNI, yep. Got in and out in 3.5 years. Went to Germany.
Oh, nice.
And did my student teaching there.
Heck yeah.
And
was that your first time outside of the U.S.?
No. We had done like a few vacations. I had gone to France in high school for my French class. I'd gone there for, I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks we stayed. So it wasn't my first time, but I love to travel, which is funny because I do get very homesick. Yeah. Whatever. We just won't go there.
We're going to talk about that.
And so I met Matt right before I went there.
Okay. So Matt is?
My husband.
Your husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
And probably had it not been for him, I probably would have stayed in the Dodd school system and taught overseas. But
so you met prior to leaving for Germany?
Yes.
And what did that look like? The hearts were apart.
Well, you know,
I'm not trying to bring up anything.
No, I won't talk about anything. It's just the story is funny because he was like the day before I left, he's like, I love you. And I was like, no, we're not even dating. Like, don't say that. Like,
on 2 different pages? Is that fair to say?
Yes. But I knew that was the page I wanted to be on, but I know I get very homesick.
Okay.
So I was like, we're not dating because I'm not going to be homesick for you.
Yeah.
But then I was
You wanted to prepare yourself for that? It sucks. Being away is tough.
And I wasn't even in danger like you, right?
Like, well,
but
that's beside the point. I always say the hardest part about any of my military trips is just being away from the people that you love, the place you love, the place you built, you know. That was the suckiest. It didn't matter if I was in Iraq or if I was in Mississippi for training. Yeah. It did not matter.
Yeah, you're away, you're apart.
You sucked.
Yeah. So, but I wasn't there 2 days and had a couple German beers. I didn't know they were stronger than American beers.
Way stronger, so 2's like 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I busted out my calling card and told him I love you, I'm going to marry you.
For real?
Yeah, and he said, I'm going to come for spring break, and the rest is history.
Hell yeah. That is an awesome love story.
It turned out how God totally planned it. I was just trying to get in the way.
Yeah. Isn't that wild how sometimes we get in our own way?
Yeah.
Wow.
But he still makes fun of me, you know, like, you were the one that didn't want to.
Yeah, and now look where we're at.
Yeah, now we can't leave each other. We're like way too deep for that.
Way too committed.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So Germany, what was that experience like for you? You said you may have stayed there.
Yeah, it was phenomenal because, you know, when you're in Europe, it's like a $29 flight to a new country on the weekend.
All the time you can travel that.
So just, and, you know, there's no worries in college. You just, you know, it's only you. It's all about you. And so we take off for the weekend and do different things. I had a couple of roommates from UNI that went with me.
Very cool.
I didn't know them, but we became great friends. And so it was phenomenal. The kids were so cool. A lot of them, their dads were deployed. So I could really pour into them because I didn't have a family. I didn't have anything to go home to at night, you know. Mm-hmm. And so it was phenomenal. It was great.
Heck yeah. And your first experience of teaching was amazing.
Yeah.
And then you came back here. And what did that look like?
I did some subbing for a while until I got my foot in the door around here. Okay. And then I was hired on at Cedar Falls Schools as the elementary reading specialist.
Very cool.
So that was amazing because it was mostly kids who struggled. Maybe they were younger, they didn't have support at home, or something just wasn't clicking for reading. Yep. And I could bring them into my room, and we made it so fun. We were like the rowdy room. Like, we had to close the door.
Imagine that.
Right? it wasn't boring. Like we're just going to like work on site, where it's like, we're going to play trash get ball while you practice. And
Very
like,
cool.
so those kids just took off, and it was everything.
To see that and to be able to be a part of that. Yeah. If your eyes are open and you're watching.
Especially, like I had a heart for those young boys who just couldn't get it. And you could just see their self-worth and belief, like just tanking. And so to be able to bring it back up was really cool.
That's a strong sentiment.
Yeah.
The power of what one little interaction along the day can make in those young people, right? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
When did you realize that teaching was not the passion for you?
I don't know
Or
that
what
it
you
wasn't
wanted to
ever
do,
not the
yeah.
passion, but I knew I wanted to start a family.
Okay.
And then we hit some major infertility roadblocks. And I kind of always had a feeling that once I had my kids, I would leave it, because I wasn't wanting to take my kids to somebody else to go into a job.
Okay.
And so that got delayed because of infertility. But I kind of always knew eventually I would probably stay home with my own kids.
That was something that you thought would be important to you and your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
yeah.
babies. I love kids. I didn't want to drop them off anywhere. If I get homesick, imagine if
Yeah. No, I know, girlfriend. I know. Yeah.
So, yeah, eventually that was going to be the path. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Now, you're comfortable speaking on the infertility and the things that you guys faced.
Yeah.
What did that look like?
So,
You get married and you're like, let's try right away, or
like 6 months in. Yeah.
Okay. Baby fever.
Yeah. I had been put on birth control
Okay.
at like 17-ish.
You had been put on. What did that look like?
I would have like one period a year, and it was awful. I obviously had some hormonal things going on.
As a young woman.
Yep.
Okay.
I didn't even get my cycle till I was like 17.
Which
And
is
so-
late.
Late.
Okay.
Yes. Most girls, I would say 14, 15. A lot of girls even younger now.
Yeah.
I won't get on that soapbox yet. And so I figured there was going to be issues, but nobody ever really got to the root cause when I was
Okay.
younger. It was like, here's the Band-Aid.
So you went to the doctor. They said, this is what will fix you. Okay. Yeah. We all know how that works out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I got off of it a few months after.
Because now you're married.
Now I'm married,
And that's
yeah.
what you're looking to do.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I just like wouldn't even have a cycle. It'd be months and months and months. And so we finally went to the doctor, and they're like, yes, you have PCOS, and we'll give you some meds, and it'll
Everything will
make you
be
ovulate.
normal then?
Well, I don't know about normal, but it will make you ovulate,
Okay.
so at least you'll be able to get pregnant.
So that medicine that you were given, does that? Makes you ovulate?
Supposed to.
Okay.
Yes. Didn't really work for me. And so then we got referred to Iowa City, and they did different medicines. Now we're doing shots.
Cool.
Now we're on the runway to IVF. So we
Okay.
had like 3 chances to do the good old turkey baster, as we call it.
And this stuff isn't cheap.
We
what-
were so lucky.
Okay.
My insurance at the elementary school covered 30 grand. I think it was like 30 grand in fertility.
Yeah. So that might not even be an option to some people in the same shoes if we're talking about that kind of money to think about getting pregnant. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you get this medicine.
Yep.
It doesn't work. They send you to Iowa City, the specialist.
Yep. Works. Miscarry.
Oh,
Yeah. Probably the darkest days of my life. I mean, we can just hear the song that like was playing when we figured it out. And like, I mean, I'm just like a puddle of tears. I can see like myself on the front steps. I mean, everything.
you guys have been trying for so long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then
I've never experienced anything like that, and
Yeah.
I just cannot even imagine
well, it's
it.
like what, 1 in 4 now?
The current statistics, I believe, say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was devastating. It was faith building. It was actually great for our marriage. It pulled us together. A lot of people,
Yeah.
it's not great. And so then it was like, okay, but we can get pregnant, right?
Gave you a little nugget of hope, maybe.
Yep. And so then we start treatments at Iowa City, and we get pregnant. I start on progesterone.
And that's to keep the
To keep the
pregnancy
pregnancy,
viable. Okay.
We see the heartbeat, and
No
9
way.
months later, our first is born. And as awful as those years were, every time she woke up in the middle of the night, I was like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? Like, never once was it like, oh, I have this sick baby I have to deal with. Like, this sucks. Like, I was just so thankful. It had put me in this space where, like, no matter what, like, you're
No
crying.
matter
I
how
don't
many
know
nights
why.
of sleep you
Yeah.
miss. Yeah.
I just was so thankful. And I think that's carried through. We have 6 kids now. Every time it's just like, this is all I wanted for so many years, you know?
To be a mom. Heck yeah.
To be a mom. So I took my last vacation day as a teacher and went into labor that same day.
Very
and
cool.
then never went back. So
Never went back to teaching.
nope.
Because
Teaching other people's kids.
Yeah. 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 Because you homeschool
Yeah,
now.
no, I homeschool, yeah.
Yeah. So you started with this one precious baby after miscarriaging.
Yeah.
And it helped strengthen your marriage.
Yeah.
That is crazy because, like you say, a lot of times you hear about it can pull people apart and ruin families, and I just cannot even imagine going through those sort of things after trying for so hard and then that being it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a super emotional time, and I'm not really an emotional person, so it was like really draining.
Yeah.
To go through all of it.
But then you got your baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
what
then
was
she's like a year, and I was like, we should do this again because this is awesome. So we did meds with him for a second. And second or third month it worked. Got immediately on the progesterone to help maintain the pregnancy. And they did the ultrasound. It's going to be a girl. We have the baby. The baby's like 10 minutes old. And they're like, what are you having? I said, oh, it's a girl. And they're like, could we check? It's a boy.
Trickster.
So, yeah, so our second was a boy. And then third, fourth, fifth, sixth, no meds.
You did it completely natural. How did you change that?
We did a course with, what's it called? Fiat Family.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Learn more about my cycles. Even though my cycles were like 90, 100 days long, there was still a point I was ovulating at this point. And so we could time it with ovulation. So that worked for a kid or two. And then I just kind of did a whole makeover of how my life worked, window territory in my life. And then 4, 5, and 6 were like the first month.
Wow. That's a huge testament in itself.
To like perfect 30-day cycles from like, you know,
there are going to be ladies who are like,
cycles.
What?
Yeah.
Because, I know, even inside of my own little family, we are very comfortable talking about these things because my wife's a midwife. So it's like, this is stable talk,
She's
basically.
Our midwife. I love her.
Heck yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Amazing person doing exactly what she's called to do. And it is just so cool to see.
She's literally the best. I love her.
Well, I appreciate that. Shout out.
Yes.
Where were we? That completely scrambled my brain.
Infertility. Look at you thinking about your wife getting all flustered.
I am.
Infertility in your family.
Yes. So,
People who struggle, and my story is going to intrigue them.
Yes. Now, I cannot imagine the amount of ladies sitting on there because in my own family, we have had these talks, struggling with fertility, getting birth control just thrown to you. This is what will fix everything that is your problem. I'm not saying that might fix some of your problems, but the things that we are being given, it just is not right to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many theories on it, right?
Yep,
I think
absolutely.
Some of it is just the time or the expense or the hassle of figuring out the root cause. People don't want to.
Effort. It's a lot. I'm sure it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of careful steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, you never gave up, or you would maybe, who knows, you could still be trying, And there's a big piece in that to make sure that you are your own advocate, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember after we lost our first baby, I had seen this random email come through from a friend that just talked about if you have miscarriage, you should get checked for this gene mutation.
Okay. Not something you've ever seen or heard before. No.
Totally God thing, right? So I bring it up to my doctor. That test is not covered until you've had 4 miscarriages in a row.
Okay.
Well, don't tell me. This is not what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I said, fine, we're going to pay out of pocket. Actually, I think I'm bawling at this point, and Matt's like, no, we'll do what we have to do.
Yeah.
We pay. I, in fact, have that gene mutation. I would have likely miscarried over and over until all I had to do was take baby aspirin and progesterone, and then my pregnancies would stay.
Yeah, that it sure makes you question the system and why things are the way they are.
Been like, no, please just give me this DNA test. Yeah. And then, of course, when it comes back positive, okay, now we can submit it to insurance. Some
vindication. Yeah, hell yeah. But you never know. Yeah, until you try.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's a big testament to anybody that's listening to. It's if you don't take care of it, nobody's gonna.
Take care of it and take care of yourself, right? Because for the first however many years, it was like, I didn't take care of myself. Like, I mean, even just before and after pictures of like this last pregnancy and my first, it's like 100 pounds difference.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just didn't know, and I didn't have the resources, and I just didn't know what to do. So I just stayed where I was at, and I took the meds that I was given, and I prayed, and I just, that was all I did. And so learning that you can take some control.
Heck yeah.
It's important, I think.
Yeah. Now the things that were under your control, the why you feel that at number 6, baby, and we've aged, you're better off now than you were at 20. I mean, I can say those same things.
Yeah.
How, Bailey?
Nutrition, exercise. I mean, beyond like legit hairspray, I don't know if there's any toxic product in my life.
In your entire life. Yeah.
I mean, sure, occasionally there's the ice cream or the fast food or something because we're traveling, right? But, I mean, we're talking from toothpaste to deodorant to air fresheners. I mean, it's just not a part of my, okay, they're a part of my life, but they're natural.
Right.
I still use toothpaste and deodorant. And you think those things don't matter.
Yeah.
But the research out there showing that even like the average baby, I think it's like hundreds of chemicals they find in the umbilical cord. Those things are having a difference, right? Like there are things that are making 11, 10, 12-year-old girls start menstruation. Mm-hmm. Like we're messing with hormones with the products in our lives. And that became important to me to get rid of.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And we can't seem to figure out some root causes. And if we can just get back to some of the basics, then some of these things can be identified.
I mean, food just makes me crazy, right? It's like...
Nick Cool Fit sponsors this podcast, and I am in a 12-week course with him, and it's just like even small, subtle changes, the type of water that you're intaking, the type of butter, the just easy stuff.
But even like way beyond that, it's the kids' nutrition that makes me crazy, right? Like we can fine tune those things as adults, but when we're in charge of, especially for us, so many small children, like we're going to choose the thing that doesn't have the food dye over the thing that does. We're going to choose the thing with protein instead of sugar. Like there's just simple things that we're so tired and so overwhelmed as parents. I don't think we take time to realize it doesn't have to be complicated. And yes, your kid's going to go throw a fit the first time they don't get Lucky Charms for breakfast. But I'm going to tell you what, watch their behavior a few hours later between the difference between eggs and Lucky Charms.
Hell yeah.
And so those are the things I started doing for myself, right?
Yeah.
Like protein.
And you saw massive returns.
Crazy.
Yeah. What got you to take the first step? So I've felt inundated. There's too much out there.
Totally. And everybody has a different theory. And
so much stuff.
I don't know really what started it. It's just been a very continual and gradual progression. Yeah.
Very important to highlight that.
Yeah. I mean, it started, I guess, in college. I remember doing Weight Watchers.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think that's centered in nutrition, but it at least made me aware of my food choices, right? And then there was other diets and things. And then as I was able, I started investing in coaches or different things. I had one random coach that was like, if you don't strength train, you're never going to get your weight managed.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what?
Something you'd never heard before.
No, cardio, right?
Yeah,
and
that's what we were fed.
Yeah. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out the first step. I'm going to do it uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it at home because I'm not going to these fancy gyms with all these ripped people. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, what's easy? Well, Peloton has an app. You can follow these people with good music and good science behind their programs. Okay, I'll do that at home.
Yeah.
And so, it's just continual. You can't be all or nothing, right?
Yep.
Just because you ate the burgers and fries for lunch doesn't mean you eat the milkshake for dinner.
Yep, absolutely.
So, just gradual. It's such a journey.
I'm
still not perfect, but like I'm so different than 10 years ago. So.
And you feel better.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Hell yeah. And that's a sentiment to anybody stuck in their 20s and is like, man, I'm just not doing it right now. I've been there. I mean, I think from what I hear, you can say that you've been there too.
Yeah.
Now you say investing in coaches, investing in yourself. What made you pull that trigger? Some people are reluctant. They don't believe. Oh,
I will try anything. I just know that I do best with coaching. So tell me what I need to do. Ask me next week if I've done it. Let's roll.
Hell yeah.
Like, I don't need a mindset about how to do it. I don't need, like, fluff. Just tell me what to do, and I will do it.
Yeah, you respond well to that.
Yeah, and so whether it's business or health or whatever, parenting. I mean, I've taken parenting courses. I still have a business coach, right?
Now you say let's talk about those things. Business, parenting. We're not subject matter experts in any of those areas. Why would you not want to invest in someone who is, if you're really trying to up your game, right? I just speak on that so much, and it's so hard to get people to spend $500 or $1,000 on a coach that's with you for 12 weeks, but we can buy a big screen TV for $4,000 that's curbed.
Yeah, I went to a Tony Robbins event just a couple years ago. Oh my God. Literally walked.
That dude would, I would be like ready to fight. Yeah.
Like literally I walked on fire. It was like the craziest experience
For real,
ever.
you walked on fire.
Okay, so it's not fire, it's coals.
Coals,
but
yeah,
they're
shit.
like,
I've never walked on coals.
I don't even know,
hot
like
as hell.
something 1,000 degrees or whatever, right? I mean, like, there was burns, like, for real. It's fine. And one of the things that he said so profoundly is you're either progressing or you're dying.
Absolutely. Every single day, right?
Oh my gosh. Like, so, you know, my 12-year-old, we homeschool. She's around me all day. And the other day, she was like, where are you going? Because I was headed off to the office. And I was like, I got to watch this module. I got some homework that's due. She's like, why are you always taking classes? Oh. And Matt's out of the corner of my eye. He's like, oh, here it comes.
Just waiting.
And I'm like, because if I'm not improving, I'm dying.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't get successful by not constantly learning and improving.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to sit on the couch and be a bum on a log either. Like, I'm going to show you how this works, you know?
Yeah.
And I was talking with a friend the other day. It's like, how many 30, 40-year-olds haven't learned something new in 10 years? Mm-hmm. Haven't taken a class.
Picked up a book. Yeah, I've fallen into some of those same traps too, but it's important to hear this, to know, what have I done? How am I progressing? What am I doing differently?
Yeah.
You know?
If I'm driving, I'm listening to podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to fill my brain, or Christian music if I just need to, like, tune out for a minute. But I'm going to fill my brain with something because I feel that need. And I don't know if it's because that's who I am or it's because I've taught myself to be that way.
Oh, yeah.
But eventually, if you're always doing that, I think if you stop, you're going to miss it, right? So I think there's a way you can teach yourself.
Oh, I am. I crave to learn new stuff. It excites me to learn.
Like when the kids go to bed, I'm like, Netflix documentaries, what's new?
Well, I'm on Ancient Apocalypse right now. And I mean, I don't know.
Do I need this? What is this?
It talks about how humanity, the story of humanity, could be different from what we know. I am 100% believer of God, but it just talks about history. And I want to know everything. And if it's different than what our technology could do 50 years ago, and there's some science out there, I'm interested.
I love it.
Aliens. I like learning about that, and extraterrestrials
I have not
and the
done
universe.
that rabbit hole.
Oh, Lord, I'm in it right now. And I don't know what I believe, but I really like to hear all the different stuff.
Why not, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, no, I can definitely relate with that, and it's exciting. I don't know. I think we need it. I think that's who we're designed to be, is people that are constantly moving forward. Or like you say, you're falling backwards. Hell yeah. Oils. Now, right now, you do essential oils. I didn't know if we were even going to get here with all the sheep farming and everything that we've covered.
Infertility. Yes. We're just like covering.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I am interested in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But why I had you here is your affiliation with these. Now, I met you years ago now at a event, and prior to me coming to that event, my wife...
Did she drag you? Tell the truth.
She definitely was the only reason I was there. And I did not believe in the capabilities of anything per se that was associated with oils, but I have completely switched my feelings towards that.
I love it.
What was your introduction to the oils, essential oils?
Yeah, so
And your initial feelings when this was brought up to you?
Yep. So I, summer before my senior year of high school, got super sick. I mean, I was in the bathroom 20, 30 times a day, blood, whole ordeal. I was so afraid of doctors. I said nothing to my family.
You just kept it secret.
But
Problems.
I'm dropping weight. I'm exhausted. I'm talking about not playing sports. My senior year, I was a 5-sport athlete.
Wow.
I was
super involved.
Mm-hmm. I was so sick. And right before the school year started, I remember laying on the couch and I was shaking because I had such a bad fever, and I asked to go to the doctor, which is like
unheard of.
Not
from
a yes, like the biggest red flag ever. So my mom takes me to the doctor, a pediatrician, who shares an office with a gastroenterologist.
Okay.
He takes one look at me. I tell him what's happened. He takes me immediately to the doctor next door. He's like, okay, this is obviously a gastro issue.
Okay.
Surgery, colonoscopy.
Based on what you had said. Okay. It was clear cut.
Surgery, colonoscopy. I have an abscess.
You had all these things done? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had an abscess that had to be drained like immediately in my intestinal tract.
They like knock you out for this surgery?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Then a colonoscopy. Yes, you have Crohn's disease.
As a kid?
Yeah. Crohn's disease. Here's, steroids to get things under control. Now here's a medication you're going to take the rest of your life.
Wow. For the Crohn's disease.
For the Crohn's, yeah.
Now, it varies from people to people, right? Like the severity of it?
Yeah.
At that point in your time, it was the only like flare-up that you'd ever had? Or?
Yeah, but it had been months, right? Like the whole
of
summer,
having
I'd been
this,
super sick.
being sick.
Yeah. And so...
What were you worried about? Where was your head at with all that stuff? I don't know. I'm the type of person I've been like WebMD. I've been thinking I've had cancer.
I was 17. I don't know if it was like that popular to like WebMD stuff.
Oh, probably not back then. No, sorry.
You know what I mean?
Not trying to date us either, but
yeah. So it was just...
You just weren't worried about it, or you just...
I was so afraid of doctors, I shelved it.
Wow.
So afraid. It's why I have my babies and I don't even have an IV, right? Like...
There's maybe some truth to that. All right.
And so, so I was diagnosed. I think I missed out on most of my senior year of sports, but I was doing better. Symptoms were managed. I was doing better. I was able to eat normal things again. And that hung with me through my first two babies.
Crohn's. So you dealt with that for years.
Yep. But I was pretty much managed on that medication.
Okay.
Which is why I tell people I don't hate modern medicine and doctors and medication.
Right.
I just like having other options if they're there. I want hope that there's other options without side effects. That's all.
And you prefer more holistic, natural, if possible, right?
But it wasn't part of my life.
Yeah.
So we just had our second baby. He had just been diagnosed with a heart condition. Our first also had a heart condition. Thought it was a fluke thing. We're watching TV.
Oh, man.
Commercial comes on. If you're on this medication, you have children born with a heart condition, you can be a part of our lawsuit. I remember turning to Matt and saying, that's the medicine I'm on.
Yeah, how did you feel in that minute?
Like any mom who thinks she just had a role in it would feel, right? Now, I think God's been very gracious to me that I don't carry that guilt. It's part of our story.
Yeah,
and so,
I did not mean that.
No. I know people carry stuff like that. Yeah. I've been able to let that go, which is great. But I knew at that moment, like, we can't have more kids. I will never purposely put myself in a position where I could cause this. And
you felt that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess 2 it is, and we're super lucky to have these 2. And a few months later, I get a packet in the mail.
Isn't it freaking crazy how these things work out? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was old school photocopies from my cousin's wife. And it was about this Dr. Mom kit from doTERRA.
Your whose wife?
My cousin's wife.
Cousin's wife, all right.
Yeah, in Omaha. She thought I was into crunchy things because I did cloth diapers.
Crunchy. Cloth diapers, yeah.
But I only did them because I thought they were cute.
Yeah, okay.
And I stayed home so I could do them, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Did you guys do them?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Washing them twice and all that.
They're going right now. It's
Bailey.
fine. It's fine.
Okay.
And so I wasn't crunchy.
Crunchy, I like that because we heard that in St. Louis too.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are crunchy when people saw that.
Yeah.
Explain that. Crunchy means like what?
Supernatural.
In a holistic approach type things. Drinks kombucha.
Yeah, I don't even know because I don't really identify with it.
Yeah, it's
so
whatever to me too.
Yeah.
I don't like those labels either. I do what I like to do, whatever,
Yes. So I got this and, I like to learn.
Photocopies.
And like bad ones.
Yeah.
I like to learn. So I took the photocopies and I'm like, and I'm also a night owl. Like when I get into something, like I'm going to take every minute until I figure it out and then I buy it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And
Buy it
so,
or throw it away, and it's
Yeah.
done.
yeah. So I did a ton of research and I'm like, these are kind of cool. Like, yeah, if my kid felt hot, it'd be cool to have something to help them and whatever. And so we didn't have a lot of extra money. And so Matt was in bed. It was like midnight, you know, it was like one of those things where I'm like hammering away and he's like, love you, good night. Like, he knows how this works. And so I used my business photography
Okay, because at
bank
that
account.
point in time, you were teaching.
No.
You had stepped away from teaching.
Yep, and I'm a
That's right.
photographer. I'm going to use my business bank account to buy this kit because I'll diffuse it to calm the babies during photo sessions.
Okay.
So it's a business expense. I don't have to ask Matt.
Heck yeah. So that was your way of,
That was
well,
my
I'll
in.
just try it.
Yeah. And it showed up and it sat in my closet because I didn't really know how to use them. She wasn't really helping me just because she was away. And I don't even know if she got it, if she knew that I got them.
Yeah.
And then one day I remember like, I should get these out and play. And so I got out frankincense and I was like, if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for you. And I rubbed it all over the back of Matt's neck. And he was like, I feel like 10 minutes later, he's like, I feel really calm.
He really felt it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
That's
is
weird.
this?
I remember, so my first thing like that was serenity at night.
Yes.
Put
Yeah.
it
you
on the
had
bottom of
sleep
my feet.
issues.
And I could, Bailey, I would go to bed at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, walk 10 times a night. And then I put it on my feet and I slept for like 7 hours. I'm like, oh, what just happened? For real. I was like, all right.
And is this going to pass a drug test?
Yeah. And then I took the capsules and I was like knocked out.
changer.
Yeah. Serenity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like my, oh shit, this stuff actually works.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I wasn't on 4 different anti-anxiety medicines, antidepressants, drinking every day.
Yeah.
I was clean or what, like, so.
Yeah.
Made a huge difference.
So he said he felt a difference, and I was like, well, what happens if I like drank that one for like intestinal things?
Because of the issues that you'd had in the past. Yeah.
And it wasn't solved, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like I was still dealing with bathroom trips and things, you know?
Yeah.
And so I drank a few drops because it said I could on the label, and I noticed things started to get dramatically better.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, what else can I do with these? And I started diffusing them. And then friends started asking, what's that thing puffing in the corner?
Yeah.
Like diffusers were not.
What is that?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was like weird back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why don't you I love having people together. I love teaching. Like I'll invite some friends to my basement. I'll put a PowerPoint together because I was a teacher. I thought that's what you did. And I'll have some wine and chocolate and like, let me show you what these can do. And
Just
then,
a get together with your friends because there were people interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my kids were less sick than others.
People started to see these things.
Right.
Yeah.
And so friends came over. There was a tornado warning. 2 ladies were losing their minds. We all jammed into our tornado shelter because there was a spotting like 2 miles away.
While you were having this party.
While I'm having this party.
Okay.
And
What a great
I was
start.
like, what the heck? In fact, there's still a corner of a ripped up order form on the floor that I won't let anybody pick up. Because I'm like, that's our roots.
That's awesome.
And so I was like, well, this oil is really good for calming. Everybody like put this on your wrist and pass it down the row. So I passed down these rows. These 2 ladies are like, we're leaving. We're claustrophobic. We're not staying here. I'm like, well, the hell you are.
Yeah.
Like, there's a tornado like 2 miles
you
away.
can't go anywhere.
Yeah. Like 5 minutes later, they were like, hey, could you teach us about an oil for so-and-so and so-and-so? And I was like, everybody immediately noticed. Those 2 that were losing it.
Normal
totally
humans
calm.
again.
Yeah. And so everybody ordered and I got a paycheck next week. I didn't even know I was getting paid. I thought I was just putting the orders in to like
Help out your friends. Yeah.
And then some friends asked me to come teach the same presentation to their friends. And a few months later, somebody in doTERRA called and said, hey, we're noticing you're doing really well. We're starting a competition next month and the top person can win like $10,000. Have you ever done Strength Finders? Clifton Strength Finders test?
Yep. Uh-huh.
My number 1 strength is competition. So I was like, competition.
Music to your freaking ears.
I'm in. Extra money, like take a vacation. I love to travel. We don't have extra money to travel.
Yeah,
I'm in.
because at that point in time, it was just the photography thing that you were doing.
Yep. And then Matt was an engineer at Deere.
Yeah.
And so we took off for 4 months, taught 110 classes and 120 days.
He took time off and you took
Mostly,
time.
I would leave every night at like 6 or 7, teach a class in somebody's home within an hour of our house, be home at like 9, nurse the baby, enter the orders, rinse, repeat the next day.
Whoa.
So he was doing suppers and bedtimes alone. I would take off. Some of the weekends we would drive, right? Let's get to Denver, Colorado for this weekend, teach classes, come back.
How bad did you want it?
Oh, it wasn't even work.
You loved it.
Loved it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Listen, people.
Yeah.
You can do things that you love and
I'm
that feed
sleeping
you.
1 a.m. to 6 or 7 a.m., nursing a baby in the night, not tired.
Waking up excited to do what you
Excited,
got to.
meal plan,
What's
crock
next?
pot, pajamas laid out, like make this as easy for him as I can. Love you, honey. See you later. Like he was, let's not like underplay his role.
Hell yeah.
He was like, screaming baby, I got this, go.
And
Go
that
help
takes
the
a lot
people,
as
right?
someone
Like,
who's also in a
yeah.
relationship to give that.
And we
hey,
weren't making that much at that time.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing about network marketing is your work in the beginning pays for a lifetime, right? And so it wasn't about the paycheck. It was about, I want to win this competition. I want to help as many people as I can. And I'm freaking great at this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we won first place. And we got like 2 or 3 top ranks from the top of the company in those 4 months.
Just because you had put so much effort into, hey, we're just going to take this bull by the horns per se.
Yeah.
Go get it.
Yeah, we're messaging people, hey, we got a class in Georgia.
How'd you start? Your friends?
Yep, my friends. Or we had some people that wanted to do the business with us. Like, okay, we'll go to anybody in the country that you have that also wants to host a class.
Yeah.
So
just being willing to do whatever
Susie,
it takes.
you've got an aunt in Atlanta.
Oh, shit.
We will load up our van and be in Atlanta in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And does anybody have anybody on the way to Atlanta that they want us to stop at?
Just everywhere in your network,
Yeah.
if you could, anybody willing to listen.
Yeah. And
Wow.
then, we started to have success. We started to find more people that want to do the business with us. I think were attracted to our energy,
Yeah.
that whole like momentum thing. And then we got an RV so we could travel longer. We used every day of Matt's vacation the next couple years.
An RV.
Yeah. And then one day he called me and he's like, babe, like you made more this month than me. Like what if
As an engineer at John Deere.
Yeah.
What did that feel like, Bailey? That's a good job in our area.
Yeah.
Some people strive their entire life just to have that. And here you are doing something you're so passionate about.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Yeah, it was great. And it was great. I was excited. So for Valentine's Day that year, I gave him a 1-hour session to a counselor. We'd never been to a counselor. But I was like, if you're going to come home, we're going to live together 24 hours a day. Let's go to a counselor, a Christian counselor, make sure like our ducks in a row.
Hell yeah.
He was great. Sort of. He was like, there's never been a couple better for this. Like, you guys got great communication. You got this. It was like the worst year of our life. We hated it.
What do you mean?
He thought he was coming home to retire at 30 years old or 32 years old. I thought he was coming home to take care of the kids 24 hours a day. And really, we just had total misaligned plans, right?
Yeah.
And so we had to learn to take time away from our coach. Was like, Matt, you must golf one day a week by yourself. Bailey.
Time away from the marriage, time away from each other because you're
and
planning.
all the kids.
Yeah.
Right? And so we eventually learned, and now it's amazing. But so he left his job, and we would RV like 1 month on the road, 1 month home. I don't know what year it was. One year we hit like 47 states.
Wow. When you say he left his job, was that nerve-wracking at all?
We had lived only on the doTERRA income for several months. He would know that. He's like the number spreadsheet.
Gotcha.
I'm like, it's fine. And so we knew it'd be fine.
Yeah.
We didn't live super extravagantly. We're simple people, like we don't need to go out to like fine dining, and like I don't even really know what a Coach purse looks like. I'm like, give me the 12-year-old's backpack. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do.
And so we had done the trial run to make sure, and we were only in this direction with our business. So it was like, sure, it was a faith leap, but it was like we were comfortable.
Yeah.
We knew we could do it.
Yeah. Now, though, that's a choice to live your life like that in today's society. Have you ever found that tough?
Yeah.
I mean, keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
That's the oldest statement of time.
It's not super tough for me. It's hard as a parent.
How so?
Why don't I have the iPhone? That's not what our family believes in.
Everyone else at school does.
We homeschool. So we don't have the same pressures.
All of my friends do.
We don't have quite the same pressures, but our kids respect us enough that they will push us, but they also know that like a no is a no for right now. Period. End of story. We'll talk through why, right? Like we're also like an anti-sleepover family. All my friends are having a sleepover. Okay, I'll pick you up at 11. But why? Well, sometimes, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I know you don't understand. I need you to trust me on this choice. This is what we're doing,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's not easy, but I feel like end of the day, like it eliminates problems that other parents deal with, right? Like we had an event this weekend and I was at a table and this gal that I love is like, we're playing a family game and my daughter's on her iPhone and I'm just like, that's hard.
Yeah.
And now you can't back that train up.
No, you're never getting that back. The genie's out the bottle.
Yeah.
I feel that way as well.
And so our kids have little watches that we can call them on.
Yeah.
So if they're on about, they have comfort in being able to get a hold of us, but they can't get beyond a phone and text,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not easy, but I feel like it'll be worth it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely. That genie, once it's out of the bottle, it's hard to get back in there. And us who have grown through the internet and broadband, I mean, we get sucked into that to pretend that a 9, 10, 11-year-old kid isn't going to me, is obnoxious and ludicrous.
And I'll listen to a podcast because I'm obsessed with learning, right? Where it's like, doing this with your children changes their brain. And I'm like, oh, hell no, we're not going on that path. So I have like the information, I can't articulate it well, but it's in my brain enough to hold me to my guns on this is not happening.
When it is so hard, when every single week I need one, I'm going to be at volleyball by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely relate on that. And you're parenting six children now. Now you say you homeschool. What is that like?
It's awesome.
With the 6.
It's
How do you
awesome.
manage everything?
So we use a curriculum. It's called The Good and the Beautiful. It's a Christian-based. It's called Open and Go. So there's no prep.
Okay.
So I open it. I read the red letters. The black text is what he or she has to do. We play the game. We do the reading, whatever. So I do reading, spelling, handwriting. Matt does math. And then as a group, we would do either science or history.
Okay. As the group of all the kids.
Yep.
Okay.
And so we usually start by 8:30. We're done by 10:30.
What sort of things do you fill the rest of the day with?
I mean, my kids would say nothing, right?
Right.
Like, they're like,
I'm bored.
yeah.
I'm hungry. Yeah.
So we have 3 girls and 3 boys. So our 3 boys are in baseball right now. So Papa built them like the whole like pitching
Oh, wow.
like square thing.
Heck
They
yeah.
have to throw it in. So they're outside practicing pitching. They're on the playground. Papa picks them up and they go do farm chores and pick up rocks.
Oh, cool. Heck yeah.
If I don't have a meeting, we're going on a walk somewhere. We travel a lot still. So that's still, we're not usually just home. I mean, we are sometimes, but if we're out and about, they're reading a book, they get 1 hour of screen time, they have chores. So our thing is that we cook and then they do dishes, they clean the floor, they clean the counter, they take the trash out.
Heck yeah.
They get the eggs from the chickens. Like, they've got things to do after every single meal. They've got free reading they can do. They can usually watch a movie if they get super bored or something, but
Heck yeah.
I don't know. They figured it out.
Yeah.
Like we did.
Yeah. You can be bored. There is not a wrong with being
My
bored.
kids-
Jeepers.
My kids have more than once heard, like, I'm so glad you're bored.
Yeah. Yep.
Would you like a chore?
Yep. You want to help hang up clothes?
Yeah. And we try to get them, like, they usually get like 1, maybe 2 sports a year. So, like, Kinley will start tennis next week. That'll be a couple mornings a week. They sometimes do like some art camps or something. So, I mean, time flies with 6 kids. It's
Heck
not
yeah.
like, it's like, here, hold the baby and help. I'll be back in 20 minutes. I got to shower,
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with 8 of us
There's
in the
always
house.
a lot.
So,
yeah. Heck yeah. So you and your husband now have been doing this oils for a long time.
Yeah.
What is that like now, and where is it going?
Yeah. Well, it's taking a big turn.
Yes.
So we felt pretty called a year ago to move our family to India
India.
because doTERRA...
Like the most populated place on earth. India.
Third world country.
Yes.
From
From the United States of America that we both emphatically said that we loved.
Love, yeah.
Love being here.
Yeah.
Whew.
So our company opens an office in a new country, probably 3 or 4 countries every year. And every year they announce them. And I'm
Because
like,
they're growing and expanding all over the world.
Yep. And every year I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Brazil, that's so cool. France, that's so cool. And then when they said India, Matt and I both like looked at each other and we're like, India. And
What was that about?
he had worked
Oh.
with several people from India at John Deere.
Very cool.
And a lot of the educated people speak English.
Yep.
And they were just so nice, and they would invite us to like real Indian dinners, and like he just really connected with them.
That's awesome.
And so
look what we can happen when we embrace those other cultures and those people who are so vastly different from us. And now you guys are freaking going to India.
Yeah, and our friends were like, hey, this pastor's coming to town. We live in Florida half the year.
Okay.
He's coming to town, and he does like these prophetic messages. And I was like, he does what? I'm like from like little Iowa church. Like, she's like, he'll just pray, and like sometimes the Holy Spirit will tell him things that he feels you need to know.
Okay. And this is not something you've ever experienced before?
No, and I'm like sweating.
Okay.
And like across the table from this man, Clyde.
Okay.
Like, I'm just here
But
for
you're
it.
willing to try.
Why not?
I mean,
Why not? If this man can be able to hear a message from God every day of the week, I'm here, right? So he's like, you know, just getting to know us, and he doesn't really know anything about us besides our names. And he just kind of starts praying, and he's like, God's calling your family overseas. And Matt and I had just started talking about, what if we went to India?
you were serious about it. Yeah.
And that was all I needed.
Yeah.
God's
That's
behind
the
it. Let's go.
gentle nudge that you needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for leaning into that. I don't believe in coincidence.
Yeah.
So if you felt it was strong,
Yeah.
jump.
And I feel like we have an incredible customer base in the United States, and our business partners, they don't need us. And if God's calling us there, that's really silly to not go. And our kids are never going to have an opportunity to gain more grit in their lives than living in a third world country.
Yeah.
And it's
Talk
also a
about an
phenomenal business opportunity. If we can be some of the first there to help people.
That's what you're about.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we got our house on the market to rent. We got our for sale sign on our car, and we got tickets to head out the last week of September, and we'll be there for maybe 15 months is our goal, but we're not employees of doTERRA, so we can do what we want. So the goal is 15 months, because then everybody only misses one birthday and one Christmas.
Okay.
But if we're killing it, we'll stay. And if it's just
When
too
you're killing
hard,
it, you'll stay.
sure.
Okay.
But maybe we'll have killed it and have handed
have
it
another
off by
option.
then. Yeah.
You never know.
And if we need to come earlier, we can. Although we're not coming home just because it's hard. You know?
I'm sure there are going to be a lot of things.
Oh,
right?
I continue to tell the kids and myself, let's be real, and myself, this won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. And so, yeah, we're going to grow our faith and grow our business and grow together as a family and
all in
see
India.
where it takes us. Yeah.
The Kings take on India.
Yeah.
It is wild to me. So being that this new market, what does your day-to-day look like there as opposed to here?
So right now it's a lot of calls, Zoom calls
With people in that area?
Yep. So Matt and I went last May, and then
You
Matt
took the trip,
Yep.
the initial trip
Yep.
there. What was that like?
It was amazing. Everybody was like, you're going to hate it. It's so smelly. It's so noisy. And I was just like ear to ear, right? There's like 12 lanes of traffic literally going like every which way.
I've heard it's a
There's
zoo.
like 5 people on a motorcycle, like literally scraping past your car. And I'm just like, smiles, like,
Good for
this
you,
is
Bailey.
the wildest
Hell yeah.
thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was great. And so then I was pregnant. So Matt went in July alone, and he had a great trip. And then we had been asked to come speak in November. I was like 8 months pregnant. Your lovely wife was like, please don't go. So we sent my son with Matt.
With him,
Yep.
yes.
And I'm getting like selfies at the Taj Mahal
I
and
saw some
videos of
pictures
like,
and
when
I
are we moving
loved
here?
Loved it.
And so, so that kind of solidified it. So then we had the baby January 1st. We're like, okay, let's get her to like, 7-8 months old. So we kind of picked this September date. So yeah, it's a lot of calls. It's events just like here. Changi, this lovely woman in India, get 5 or 6 of your friends together. Let's let them try the oils. Let's teach them. You help take
Education.
Yeah. And experience. You have to try them. They're
Yeah.
so different once you try them, right?
Yeah, so different.
And so you take the orders. doTERRA will ship everything for you to your customers. You'll get the paycheck. We're helping you get out of poverty. Like, let's roll.
Yeah.
Rinse, repeat. And so there's way more challenges than here. And it's awesome and hard. We hear a lot of, like, yes and not always a lot of action.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to let you down, so they tell you yes, but
the
maybe
type of people, the type of culture that India provides.
Yeah, they don't want to let me down, so they'll tell me they're going to do something, but it might be IST, India Standard Time.
Okay.
Might be tomorrow, might be 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, like I literally get messages from people on Instagram that had come to an event a year ago.
Oh, wow. And are just now picking the ball back up. That sounds like me, kind of. I mean, I got
like, hey, remember when we met a year ago? I'm like, no.
But sure, yeah. Huh.
So
it's just how it is.
It's the exact same here. It's just a different culture.
Yeah.
Get people together, try the oils, give them hope for their issues.
Yeah.
We start every single class the same. Tell me what you are here for.
Yeah.
What are you struggling with? Okay, let me give you some ideas of things that can help you.
Ideas of things that can help you. Yeah.
Let me show you how to order. Do you have friends that need this too?
That's it.
Over and over.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I'm like a huge proponent on is looking into the ingredients and some of this stuff. And we talked about...
I hadn't noticed that you were really into ingredients and research.
Well, from all the questions that I asked. But I wanted you to be prepared because I know how in-depth that this brand specifically goes.
Yeah.
But as far as getting the materials, how does doTERRA source these things?
It's so different than any other company in the world.
That's out there right now doing it.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're the largest essential oil company in the world.
Okay.
It would be massively cheaper and easier to go around and buy massive plots of land around the world. And that's just not how we do it.
So massive plots of land where
we control it all and we pay people
per se of the ingredient that they seek. And then they own everything, the rights and everything, but they don't do that.
They refuse. And so our big thing is that we are in the pursuit of purity, potency, and consistency through co-impact sourcing. So we get our oils from the part of the world where they grow best. You're never going to get lemon from the United States. You're going to get it from Italy. You're going to get lavender from Bulgaria. Yep. So it's just like here in Iowa, we could grow an orange tree. Our oranges would suck.
I love that.
We don't have the right climate, soil, sun, whatever. But an orange tree in Florida, perfection.
Yep.
So where the plant grows, 100% matters. So we will get our plants from the country where they grow best. We are literally getting our frankincense from Somaliland and Jordan and Oman, not anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's not where they grow. And it's not, if they do grow other places, they're not great, right?
Yeah.
And
the purity, the quality isn't the top notch where it was meant to be, where it was first harvested.
Right.
Gotcha.
So we go all over the world and we work with these farmers. And most companies use brokers to buy a batch of oils.
Okay.
That broker has bought it from a farmer. Almost 80% of the time, they have adulterated that batch of oils. They have added something or changed it so they can sell more of it cheaper.
Cheaper, yeah.
We don't work with any brokers. So we go all over the world and we vet out incredible farmers, most of them who've had these farms for generations. They know the best ways to farm.
Yeah.
And then we will work with them, pay them fairly for the first time probably ever, help them get out of poverty. If they're in third world countries, right, where a lot of the plants grow, Kenya, things like that.
Yeah, you said Somalia, Yemen. Those, but we're talking about there's pirates, there's genocides.
Yes. Yeah. And it affects us often.
Yeah.
And so then we will distill them ourselves. We don't use brokers. We use third-party testing. You can get those results of your bottle from the third-party company at sourcetoyou.com.
Completely separate from anything that you're doing.
Then we do our own testing, and then it comes to you. So we cut out the broker, we cut out the middleman, and we lift farmers, distillers, growers out of poverty at the same time.
Hell yeah.
So it's harder. It's more expensive, but it gives you the best oil, and it makes the most difference in the world.
Yeah. Long term, too, goals. I mean, it may be more expensive right now, but Yeah.
And so because of that, we can guarantee that we are the only company in the world who every single time will give you 100% pure essential oils in the bottle.
Whatever it says it is, it is.
And only that.
Right.
And there's very little regulation.
Right.
So when your Walmart bottles for $4.99 says it's 100% pure frankincense.
Now, hold on. There's very little regulation inside of this market.
Yes.
Okay. So, that being said,
yes,
the things that you think may be an essential oil are all adulterated
80% are not.
Yeah.
Either not even what they say they are, or they've been diluted. Adulterated somehow.
Yeah.
In fact, there was recent research there was, let me make sure I get the numbers right, 16 different brands of birch were bought.
So birch is the...
is an essential oil.
Essential oil, okay.
Very, very expensive and hard to find.
Okay.
0
out of 16.
0 of those bottles had 1 drop of birch.
Wow.
0% birch in any of them.
Yeah.
Most of them are wintergreen or something
Similar.
way cheaper.
So how can they even put that on the bottle?
I mean, that's beyond my pay grade. I don't know. I just don't think it's...
regulated.
Yeah.
And it's not, because oils are regulated the same as supplementation, correct? A food and drug.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And that is whatever can be in there.
Yeah.
So that is
and
why.
even like bergamot. Let me make sure it's bergamot. Bergamot is an incredible oil for lifting mood. There are 12 times more bottles of bergamot sold than plants in the world.
Huh. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So literally it can't be bergamot in most of the bottles sold.
Right. It does not make sense. Doesn't add up. And now we wonder why oils get a bad rap.
And additionally, let's say it is real lavender. Well, how it's farmed and the sun it has and the moisture it has can make this bottle of lavender completely different than this one. So linalool, which is the constituent in it that makes you calm, could be 2% or 40%.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
doTERRA just had every batch for the last 6 years checked. That linalool amount was within 1.5%.
Of every single crop and every single
batch for 6 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
So you're going to get consistent results and 100% pure.
Yeah.
So if you use lavender from Walmart, maybe it's lavender.
Maybe you got a drop.
And maybe that bottle helped calm your daughter. But the next bottle may not have anywhere near enough in it to help her.
Yeah.
And then you're like, this is crap, it doesn't work.
This isn't working. Yeah, of course it's not.
So when they go to do research, like in hospitals and clinics and things, almost always doTERRA is the only brand they will use for research.
Because the other ones don't even add up.
They have to have consistent product to research.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool what we're doing. Most people just don't ever have the opportunity to understand the difference.
Absolutely.
The
They're never taught.
difference is uncanny. I mean, we just hired, he's been with us a few years. He was just here in Cedar Falls this weekend. Dr. Osgathorpe, right? Infectious disease pediatric doctor. Brilliant. Why are we bringing him in? Because there are so many people out there that need the research. They need his medical insight into this to know how real this is.
Yeah.
This isn't just a doctor mom who grabs some stuff off her shelf because her kid has a cough and she thinks it might work. Like there is like research. That's one of the questions you asked me. 32,000 scientific studies evaluating essential oils in PubMed. Over 100,000 documents indexed on their effectiveness.
Wow.
Like this isn't like...
Yeah, it's not crazy that to say that these things can work.
Yeah.
But they're not going to work if they're not what they say they are. Right.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Now the manufacturing piece, you say that they are lifting people up.
Yeah.
By paying decent wages to these people.
Yeah.
How are they selling and distributing the oils then after they're created?
Yeah, so we have a team that works with the farmers. So then they're actually getting like same day fair payment. So they literally bring their crop, they get it weighed, they get instant payment.
Yeah.
And then a lot of places we have distilleries. So like in Bulgaria, it's the Rose Festival right now. There's only a few days of the year you can harvest rose.
Oh, wow.
But there's rose in like all the makeup beauty industry. It's not rose, right? There's only a few days and it has to be distilled within a couple hours.
Those are the parameters to make this effective. Yeah, wow.
So we're there building a distillery. Well, it's now done. I just opened the ribbon cutting was this week. So within those 2 hours of the rose petals being harvested, which they can only be harvested for a certain amount of time in the day, because if they get too warm, when the sun hits them, it will come out of the petals.
Wow.
And so we're distilling it right there on site. And then it's coming back. It's third-party testing. It's going through our testing. We're bottling it. Most of that's done in Utah and then shipping out.
So Utah is kind of the place where this all began.
Yep.
Now, to be able to bring science into it and get this stuff tested, that's very important to doTERRA.
Yeah.
And they're building whole medical systems.
Yeah, so they have a medical clinic in Utah.
Okay.
And so people can have, I think it's like a monthly subscription you can use, and you can see the doctors, and they will be able to give you actual oil protocols, and they can still do full testing. And We have a lot more coming down the pipe where you can actually get at-home test kits for your cortisol and your hormones and different things. It can get sent back, and you can get results through the app, and then you can pay for a consultation with the doctor. Or if you have a book and you want to look up what oils to use for maybe your cholesterol's high or whatnot, you really can be your own advocate.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
So the future, India.
Yeah.
The whole King family takes on India. Jeepers.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And then you said it was 15 months.
That's the goal. It's
maybe
loose.
a little bit longer, maybe.
Yeah. To not make the grandparents totally lose their crap. We're going with 15 months.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah, we have a huge event we have to speak at the second week of October, so we're going to get there end of September.
Jump right in.
Still
homeschooling with the children?
Yep, still homeschooling, and we'll do classes and events, and we'll explore during the day and do meetings and things at night. And
is there anything that makes you nervous about going?
Of course, right?
Bring in the kids. That adds a new level. It adds a layer.
But when I was there in May, all I wanted to do was be home with my kids, right? So we have to go together. I think the medical thing always makes me nervous.
Whether you have access to adequate
care.
And
I mean, end of the day, I still have Crohn's disease. Like, I'm doing really well, but I still have it. And they do have phenomenal doctors and phenomenal hospitals. You just have to be self-pay and know where they are and have the connections. So I think the medical thing makes me nervous. I know we're going to have digestive issues.
Because of the change. You're eating completely different way.
Well, and the bacteria and the parasites, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you can't just wash your apple with water because the water probably isn't clean.
Yeah.
So that makes me nervous. Our oldest daughter is so different than me. She's so sensitive, and she carries that so differently than me.
Yeah.
And so she's already very worried to go. And so I worry about her. But my hope and my intention is that this shows her she can get through anything hard.
Hell yeah.
And we'll be right there with her to do it. You know, like, that's the time to learn you can do hard things.
Mm-hmm. With the people you love right around.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to miss my friends. I'm going to miss, like, shooting the shit in the pickleball court with, like, the people I love in Florida, you know? And, you know,
but
it's like blue skies, and, like, we don't have anybody we can see for miles from our house. And we're going to be living with, like, people inches away from us at almost all times of the day.
Yeah. Constant busyness.
And they want to touch and take pictures and be...
Of Americans?
Yes.
Oh, man, that adds a whole nother level.
Especially 6 blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids.
Yeah.
It will be...
Everybody,
very big spectacle most places we go.
Yeah, that's not something that you even think about. And then, you look differently than everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone.
Yeah. Like, great opportunity, still a challenge.
Yep. Wow. Well, we're running out of time, Bailey, but before you get out, I appreciate everything. I didn't anticipate.
You didn't even grill me with, like,
I know, all the hard stuff, but that's okay. We talked about very important stuff.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, to have the gump to go after your freaking dreams and to not sit back and let life hand you what it wants to hand you, there is a lot in that. To take control of your own health, to be your own advocate, the things you spoke on with that, to infertility. 1 in 4. That's disgusting. We have got to do better. I don't have the answers, but you gave some today.
And I don't even know if it's answers. It's just...
Outlook?
The fight to not give up until you find something that works.
Hell yeah.
I don't care if it's oils or some sort of shake or, you know, like moving your body daily. I mean, those things weren't easy or fun for a long time for me. It's just the hope that you can control things instead of handing it off to being this big uncontrollable, I hope I have kids, or I hope... And there are definitely some challenges greater than mine in infertility world. There are some people who definitely cannot have kids. I am not undermining that. But mine definitely was affected by those healthy choices.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And there's power in that now. But before you get out of here, so at the end of every game, I do this or that.
Yeah.
So
forgot about this, and I listened to your podcast too.
I did a little bit of
now I'm nervous.
Digging. Okay. They're not terrible. Okay. I left it pretty easy for us. This episode of The Firing Range has been made possible by Pixel Labs. Marketing for growth in today's world is a beast. Let someone you can trust handle it. Thanks, Zach and Sam Everman, for always supporting me. I appreciate you guys. Ready to rock?
Ready.
The first one is, are you choosing ambition or are you choosing comfort? Some of these I already know. It's like, I got it. Logic or emotions? Be honest.
Emotion, gut.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking my gut feeling.
Books or magazines?
Books.
Bar soap or body wash?
Soap, bar soap.
Thrift find or top shelf?
Thrift.
Lead or follow?
Lead.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Dark.
Oh, for real?
So much better
I know
for
a
you.
lot of people love dark chocolate, but I just can't get behind it. I know it's better for you.
Just don't go for the
Okay.
milk and eventually you'll be behind it.
Yeah, that's true. If you just put that out of your mind, it's never coming back. Time machine or magic wand?
Magic wand.
Unlimited sushi or unlimited tacos?
Sushi.
Past, present, or the future is your final one. And what are
Future.
you taking? Hell yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much for everything you've given me, changing my mind and giving me the education behind something that can really help me.
Thanks for being open.
Hell yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you, Bailey.
You're welcome.